My sister-in-law revealed my pregnancy early, so it wouldn't overshadow hers later, saying she did it because she was excited, but I'm excited to reveal the gender in her pregnancy announcement. I'm 27 and currently 8 months pregnant, and this story has been weighing on my mind for a while. I haven't talked much about it, but it's been on my mind every day. What happened was one of those things that seemed small at the time, but over time, as I thought about it more, I realized it was all wrong. My husband, Nick, 29, has a younger sister named Dana, 25. Dana has always been a bit of a bigwig, to say the least. She needs attention, loves being the center of attention, and doesn't understand boundaries very well. I don't think she's ever read the definition of that in the dictionary. She's not mean or cruel, at least not obviously, but she's one of those people who acts first and then either doesn't apologize or gives an apology that makes it all about her. Our mothers are very good friends. They grew up together. Nick and I had been trying for a baby for a little over a year. We didn't share this with anyone except a couple of close friends because the process was stressful, and we didn't want people asking us for updates. There were tears, disappointment, and a chemical pregnancy that left me feeling pretty upset for weeks. So when I finally got a positive test and the doctor confirmed everything was fine, I was cautiously happy. I wanted to enjoy the moment and tell people when I was ready. Nick completely respected that. He said we could wait until after the first trimester to tell our families. I liked that plan. It seemed safe. At that point, I was around 9 weeks along, so it was still early, but we decided to tell her parents and siblings first. Only them. It wasn't obvious yet, and I made it very clear that I wasn't ready for the news to be public. I told them over dinner at my in-laws' house. It was just their mom, dad, Dana, and Dana's boyfriend, Ben, who were there. Everyone seemed happy for us, and I felt good about how everything went. Then, 3 days later, I woke up to a phone full of notifications. I had messages from cousins, aunts, co-workers, and even a school friend I hadn't spoken to in years, congratulating me. Some people tagged me on Facebook, and others commented on a post Dana made. She'd posted a photo of a baby bodysuit and booties, and wrote something about becoming an aunt. She tagged Nick and me. I hadn't posted anything about the pregnancy at the time. I immediately called Nick, who was at work, and he hadn't seen it either. I started crying because I felt like the moment I'd been guarding so jealously had been taken away from me. I wasn't ready to share it. I was still afraid something might go wrong. And now it was there, available for everyone to comment on, message, and speculate about. I texted Dana telling her I didn't agree with what she did. She responded with a long message about how excited she was, how she couldn't contain herself, and how she thought we'd be okay with it because we'd told the family. She went on to say she was so happy and didn't think it would be a big deal. There you have an example of doing something wrong and not apologizing, and making it all about her. Nick was furious. He called her, and I could hear them having a big argument. She cried, of course, because that's what she does when people are upset with her. Then she called her mom, who called me and told me Dana did it with good intentions and that I should be happy. A lot of people were excited for us, and that's what mattered. I didn't say much, but after hanging up, I muted Dana on all my social media accounts and stopped responding to her messages. For a few weeks, I felt like I'd been robbed of that special moment. People kept asking questions, giving unsolicited advice, and commenting on my body. I didn't even get to make the sweet announcement I'd planned for my own parents. Dana's post got to me first, and when I told her she stole that moment from me, she said I was being overly dramatic. That word stayed with me, dramatic, as if I hadn't waited so long to get to this point. Fast forward a few months. I was about 6 months pregnant when Dana invited everyone to a barbecue at her house. It was just family, her parents, me and Nick, some cousins, and her boyfriend Ben's parents. We were all there, hanging out, eating, chatting. Then, Dana stood up in the middle of it all and clinked a glass, like they do at weddings. She smiled and announced she was pregnant. "I'm 7 weeks along," she said. "Ben and I are so happy and wanted to keep it a secret for a while, but we decided this was the perfect time." Everyone clapped and congratulated her. I smiled too, but I was stiff. That night, after most people had left, I asked Dana privately why she hadn't said anything sooner, and I already knew. She looked at me and told me she didn't want her pregnancy announcement to be overshadowed by mine, that I didn't want it to be something where people just talked about my pregnancy, that I wanted my own time. I felt like my brain had short-circuited. She didn't want to be overshadowed. So she kept her pregnancy a secret for weeks, and then scheduled it to get maximum attention. And she had the nerve to say I was being dramatic for wanting to wait to share mine. It all started to make sense to me. Dana didn't post about our pregnancy out of excitement. She did it because she saw an opportunity for attention and wanted to seize it. She didn't care that I wasn't ready. She saw the window of opportunity closing and jumped on it before it was gone. And then, when it was her turn, she protected her moment like it was a golden ticket. She understood boundaries perfectly when it came to her, so someone must have given her a dictionary. She just didn't think they should apply to me. From then on, everything Dana did seemed calculated. She kept posting photos of her bump with captions that felt oddly competitive. She posted a side-by-side comparison of her bump at 7 weeks versus mine at 26 weeks, joking that we were having twin cousins. People thought it was cute, but to me, it wasn't. She would show up at family dinners in dresses that showed off her barely there bump and make comments about what a fun mom she was going to be. At my baby shower, she gave me a pack of diapers and then told the entire room that she was planning a minimalist parenting style and that she wouldn't need a lot of things because she was going to keep everything natural. She made several indirect comments that felt like digs, like that she wouldn't gain much weight or that she was already planning to gain it back quickly. I didn't respond to any of that. I just nodded, smiled, and moved on, but it hurt. Even when Nick confronted her again and told her she needed to chill out, she just said we were insecure. That's their buzzword now, insecure. As if wanting space, privacy, and respect makes me insecure. It's not even about the attention. I don't care about the number of likes or posts, or being the center of family gossip. What mattered to me was not being able to enjoy my pregnancy in peace. The only person who should have been supportive, another woman going through the same thing, turned it into a strange competition. I don't even know if she realizes the damage she's caused. Probably not. Dana lives in her own little world where every moment is about her. And the worst part is that the whole family just accepts it. They say, "That's just how Dana is," as a form of justification. As if she were a baby who hit her head as a child and ended up like that. That's why people say that's how she is. Maybe that's the case, and I don't know. Maybe she's just spoiled by her parents, and no one wants to take care of the child they raised. Nick and I talked about distancing ourselves a bit. Not cutting anyone off, but creating space. I want my baby to grow up surrounded by family, but I also don't want him around people who don't respect boundaries, especially if they're going to treat life's important moments like a game. My due date is a few weeks away. Dana is around 13 weeks along now. I've already seen her list of baby names on Instagram, along with a post asking her followers what theme she should use for her gender reveal. She tagged me and said we should have a combined party. I didn't respond. I just want to have my baby and start my life as a mom without worrying about who's watching, judging, or trying to one-up me. But I have a feeling this is just the beginning for Dana. She planned a small picnic to announce her second pregnancy in the park. To reach more people. She said it wasn't formal, just a fun way to share the news with family and close friends. At first, she wasn't even going to go. She was 31 weeks pregnant, super swollen, barely sleeping, and constantly tired. But then her mom called me and said she really wanted me to go. I felt like it was one of those guilt-ridden invitations, like I'd be a bad person if I didn't go. So I went, just for an hour. What she didn't know was that I just found out the baby's gender. I hadn't told anyone yet, not even our parents. I wasn't planning a big party or anything. I didn't want another event that would be misinterpreted or steal the spotlight. But this time, I had an idea. So I baked cupcakes, vanilla ones with white frosting. Inside, it had a pink filling. I brought them in a box labeled fragile and didn't say anything else. I thought maybe some people would try one, see the color, and we'd have a sweet little surprise. I just didn't want to wait any longer to share it with the people who were there. And yes, part of me thought it would be nice for her to feel a little of what I felt when she stole the news from me. We were a little late. Everyone was already there, decorations everywhere, a photo board, matching napkins, soft music. She was dressed like she was going to a photo shoot for a maternity brand. She gave a short speech, showed her ultrasound photo, talked about how long they kept it a secret, and how good it felt to finally let it out. Everyone clapped, took photos, and said congratulations as if it were a red carpet event. After a while, she began to mingle. People were eating snacks while sitting and chatting. It felt like a normal gathering again, and that's when I started offering the cupcakes. I didn't say anything in particular, just smiled and said, "Enjoy." It didn't take long. One of the cousins bit into one, saw the pink color, and made a loud noise. She yelled it, and a couple of people looked over. Suddenly, all eyes were on the box. I smiled and nodded when someone asked if it was mine. I said, "I just found out and wanted to share it with everyone." adding that I was very excited. Everyone clapped again. Some came up to hug me. Some were confused, but smiled politely. Their mother seemed to be holding her breath. He didn't say anything. He just stood next to me, holding my water bottle, and remained silent. My sister-in-law didn't notice right away, but when she did, I could see she dropped it all at once. Her smile disappeared. Then she walked briskly, her boyfriend following her. They stood at the edge of the park for the remainder of the event. She didn't come back. We left about 30 minutes later, leaving the cupcakes on the table. Later that night, I received a long message, some parts in capital letters. She said I ruined her day, that I did it on purpose, that I was jealous and bitter, that I always made everything about myself, that I couldn't spare her a single moment, that I embarrassed her in front of her friends and stole her joy. I told her I was sorry if she felt that way, but I didn't do it to hurt her. I said I was excited, just like she said when she announced my pregnancy without asking. I told her I hoped she'd see the double standard someday. She didn't respond, just left it on read, and then blocked me on Instagram the next morning. Her mother keeps texting her husband, saying she's upset and wants an apology. His father hasn't said anything. Update 1. It's been 2 weeks since the gender reveal drama. Things were awkward but calm for a while. There was no direct contact, only indirect comments through family members. Then, last week, I received a message from her mother, just to let me know that she was in the hospital for observation due to some minor pregnancy issues. It wasn't anything serious, just some bleeding and stress. The baby is fine, she's fine. But of course, that wasn't what I wanted to focus on. The next thing I knew, people started contacting me with strange accusations. Things like, "She's been under a lot of pressure lately," or "She hasn't been able to rest properly since all this happened," or "This is why women need support, not competition." Later that night, I received a long message from her boyfriend. She told me they weren't blaming anyone directly, but that the timing of everything she'd been through had been really difficult for her. She said what happened at the announcement party had really affected her. She said stress isn't good for a pregnant woman. He used vague words like emotional climate and family disharmony. Basically, he was trying to make me feel guilty without actually saying it. Honestly, it was crazy. I didn't do anything after the cupcake incident. I kept quiet. I didn't post anything about it. I didn't ask anyone to take sides. But now they're treating me like I caused a medical emergency just by showing up with pink cupcakes. Her mother started texting my mom, saying things like, "We should all be thinking about the baby's health, not egos and rivalry." Then someone else said, "Maybe you should apologize just to keep the peace, not because you were wrong, but to help everyone move forward." I'm 33 weeks pregnant, about to explode. I can barely tie my shoes, and now I'm being told I have to take the blame for something I didn't cause. At a recent family dinner, some people looked at me askance. Some didn't even speak to me. An aunt approached my husband and asked if I'd been more emotional lately, as if trying to diagnose me as unstable. Meanwhile, she stayed home and posted a photo of her hospital bracelet, captioned it, "Trying to get through all of this." All of this bothers me because I went through a lot to get pregnant, and she had no problem causing me stress. Not because of the revelation itself, but because she didn't want to tell everyone before I was further along in the pregnancy. I haven't received any messages from her. I find it ironic that some people think I should apologize, when she didn't. And she absolutely needed to apologize, because my pregnancy was high risk, and hers wasn't. If anyone put her pregnancy at risk, it's her, by turning it into a huge competition. Now, the family is planning a baby shower just for her, to lift her spirits, and they're already making comments about how everyone should be on their best behavior, and how we should avoid unnecessary surprises this time. I haven't decided if I'll go. Honestly, I just want to enjoy the last few weeks of my pregnancy in peace. But that doesn't seem possible when someone keeps acting like my mere existence is hurting them. Update 2. The baby shower invitations went out a few days ago. She used one of those fancy websites for online invitations, and sent them to everyone in the family, and a few of our mutual friends. I opened the invitation expecting the typical theme, dress code, registry link. But near the end of the invitation, there was a strange, intrusive line that said something like, "For the comfort of the expectant mother, this will be a child-free and pregnancy-free event." A pregnancy-free event at a baby shower? That didn't even make sense. I texted one of our cousins to ask if she received the same thing. She had too. I thought maybe it was a personalized invitation for me. She thought it was weird too. That cousin isn't pregnant, so she didn't think much of it, but the message was clear. She wasn't welcome. Is no one else in the family pregnant now? Obviously, it was about me. He didn't mention my name, but everyone knew. It was his way of saying he couldn't go without saying it directly. I guess she thought making a general rule would seem like a general limit rather than a personal criticism. A few hours later, her best friend posted a story about how some people just can't handle not being the center of attention, and that true queens protect their energy during special moments. She didn't mention anyone, but it was too well timed. Later that day, my mom called me and asked if I'd seen the invitation. I told her I had. I was already upset, but trying to remain neutral. He told me he'd talked to her about it, and she claimed it was due to her anxiety and wanting to stay calm. Apparently, seeing other pregnant women makes her nervous and distracts her. That was her excuse. She also told my mom she didn't want people comparing bumps or asking pressure questions. It was all about preserving her peace or something. I'm sure if she hadn't done the gender reveal, none of this would happen. More family members began contacting me privately. Some were confused, others clearly embarrassed. Some asked if I was going. I just told them I wasn't invited, and that was it. One person actually messaged the hostess asking if the rule was serious, and they confirmed it was. Apparently, it was a firm boundary to protect the guest of honor. The thing is, I wasn't even thinking about going. I didn't want to be around any more drama, but being told I couldn't go because I was pregnant affected me in a different way. As if my body was now some kind of threat to their spotlight. As if being pregnant at the same time as her was a crime. Now it's the new topic in family chats. People are whispering, wondering why she's acting like this. Some family members have quietly decided not to go. Some will go, but they think the whole thing is ridiculous. Some remain on his side and think he's just trying to protect his mental health. I've been on the sidelines. I haven't responded, commented, or posted anything. I'm focusing on getting ready for the baby, but part of me is tired of always having to swallow the insults and move on. If I had done something like that, the whole family would have dragged me in. Update 3. Last weekend, the family had brunch at my husband's aunt's house. It was a small gathering, mostly just immediate family. She was there with her husband, sitting silently. At first, I kept my distance, trying to avoid any unnecessary drama, focusing on catching up with a few people and getting something decent to eat, while balancing my very pregnant body on a too small chair. Everything was going well until one of the cousins mentioned a parenting support group she'd recently joined and how helpful it had been. Somehow, that turned into a conversation about postpartum support and how important it is to support new mothers. Then, someone mentioned how some people in the family hadn't been very empathetic lately. It wasn't directed at anyone in particular, but the mood quickly changed. She rolled her eyes and muttered something under her breath. I didn't hear what she said, but someone else did. He asked her to repeat it, and that's when things started to get heated. She immediately got defensive. She said she was tired of being painted as the villain, that everyone always coddled me and acted like I never did anything wrong. She claimed she had to deal with so much stress because people didn't let her have her moment. Some people looked uncomfortable. A couple tried to change the subject, but others wouldn't let it go. They looked at her and told her she needed to stop acting like her pregnancy was the whole world, that everyone had tried to be kind and understanding, even when she was being passive-aggressive, shutting people out, and making everything about her. It was what many of us had been thinking, but were too polite to say so. They said it wasn't normal to forbid another pregnant woman from going to a baby shower, especially your own family, just to make you feel more special. That dropping innuendos online, twisting the narrative, and turning every event into a competition rather than a celebration was not only petty, but cruel. And then, most brutally, that his behavior was rooted in jealousy, and everyone could see it. I didn't say a word. She looked completely shocked, as if no one had ever said no to her in her life. Her boyfriend seemed uncomfortable, but didn't defend her. Some people nodded silently. One of her uncles tried to calm things down, saying everyone was tired and emotional, but it didn't work. She ended up leaving early. She didn't say goodbye or make a polite excuse. She just grabbed her purse and stormed out, followed by her boyfriend. After she left, the energy in the room changed. A couple of people came up to me afterward and told me they were glad someone was finally saying something, that they'd noticed how she'd been treating me and didn't think it was right. I just nodded and thanked them. I didn't want to fuel the fire any further. Later that night, she posted about how some people can't handle seeing others happy, and how some family members were snakes in disguise. It got a few likes and supportive comments from her usual circle, but most of the family ignored it. Since then, she hasn't communicated directly with anyone. My mom said she's probably still angry and trying to act like she was attacked. I haven't spoken to her. I don't plan to anytime soon. I'm busy preparing for the baby. And honestly, it gave me some satisfaction to see someone finally call her out on her behavior after months of weird play and silent comments. Update 4. It's been almost 3 full months since I last posted, but you'll excuse me because I've been busy being a mom. My daughter was born strong and healthy, and that's all I've been thinking about these past few months. All the drama, my sister-in-law's nonsense, and the things that happened during this time have been put on the back burner. My mind was in mom mode, and my sister-in-law has been in the background, or even further back. But believe me, my sister-in-law has still done some stupid things. She hasn't given birth yet, so she still has time for her usual emotional tantrums and cries for attention. Although she's calming down as she reaches the end of her pregnancy and becomes more swollen. At least she's stopped posting photos or things, perhaps because she looks enormous and it's no longer cool to do so. But before she could calm down, she did the gender reveal, a highly produced video to show it was going to be a boy. And she even used this as a form of competition, because she emphasized in her post that she was giving her mother a grandson, as if to say that being a boy was more important than my daughter. Another great idea she had was to practice sports like boxing and the like while heavily pregnant, to show that women can be mothers and do many things at once. That may be true, but don't start doing strenuous physical activity in your third trimester when you've never done any of that before. My sister-in-law has been keeping busy, trying to be the center of attention, and I've been keeping busy, trying to be the best mother I can be. Different concerns, different approaches, different goals. Update 5. I said, it's time to relax and get on with my life. Maybe forget about posting on Reddit anymore, because my daughter is already born, and once my sister-in-law's baby is, there won't be any more drama. No one told me there would be more drama when my sister-in-law's baby was born, but this drama is the good kind, the kind that doesn't involve me, and I can watch from afar. I know you're going to need some context for this, because otherwise it wouldn't make much sense. My sister-in-law has a Caucasian skin tone, but her boyfriend, Ben, doesn't. I don't know why they never got married, not even when they were about to have a child, but they lived together. Ben expected his child to be born with a skin tone somewhere between them, but the baby was born even lighter than my sister-in-law's. Well, it's not hard. The baby hasn't had time to get as much sun as she has. I don't know if it's possible that Ben could still be the father of that baby, but at least it made him suspicious. This led Ben to ask for a paternity test, as it seemed odd to him, and the result, and the origin of all the drama, is that the baby isn't his. And Ben not only kicked her out of the house, now my sister-in-law is living with his parents, but he made a post tagging her. And unlike my sister-in-law's passive-aggressive posts, where she didn't name names or only suggested certain things, this post was aggressive. He said my sister-in-law was a cheating bitch who had cheated on him with some white guy, and other things I think are highly objectionable on Reddit. He called her racist for trying to have a child with a man with the same skin color as her, and several other things. What I found weirdest of all was seeing family members liking his post. It wasn't a post like, "We decided to end our relationship after years of happiness to go our separate ways, but we plan to have a cordial relationship from now on, maybe maintain a friendship." It was more like, "My wife cheated on me with a Nazi, so fuck her." But yes, it's been a lot of drama for my sister-in-law and my husband's family. My husband just said, "I'm tired of this shit," and blocked his sister on social media. I've kept my distance. I don't want to get sucked into the vortex of drama surrounding my sister-in-law. Anyway, sometimes I think and say, "There's your attention, bitch," and that makes me smile.